All right, guys. Oh boy. We haven't talked about this in a while. Do you guys remember Illuminaughty? The original YouTube mass manipulator? The original evil bitch? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. We haven't talked about Illuminaughty in a while. Things have been quiet on the front of Illuminaughty. She has been attempting to engage in legal attacks against her former friends and those that have dared to speak out against her. She has been trying to shut down with what are effectively slap suits, which I think just are slap suits. And from my understanding, most have failed. And I'm glad to see there's been continued support for the people that Illuminaughty has fucked over, one of them being Oz Media, who just recently, as in yesterday, put out a new video called Dear Illuminaughty. Now, for those who don't know, Oz Media is one of the people who's been getting some of the most attacks from Illuminaughty. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to misspeak here if this is incorrect, but wasn't one of the people that Illuminaughty has been attacking, like, Illuminati's ex from one point? Was it Oz Media? This is a question, not a statement. Oz was Illuminati's ex-fiance. Oz is her ex. Okay, ex-fiance. Yeah. I know that, like, the things that Illuminati said about Oz were very insane, extreme, and over the top, with no evidence provided. It was, of course, all saying things. And the things that Oz was able to demonstrate with evidence that Illuminati did were really bad. Oh my god. Can't stop burping. And with that said, most people just kind of sided with Oz, and rightly so, I'd say. But apparently there's been an update to the situation. All I know is that for like the last 6 to 8 months, there's been continued legal pestering from Illuminati, which from what I have heard haven't been going well for her, but it's also not ideal for the people she's pestering. So let's get the news. Let's find out what's going on. Let's get the lore dump.
Well, here we are. Round 2. Blair, if you or your lawyers are watching this, I implore you to at least watch the outro, preferably before June 7th. This is not the monstrosity of a documentary against Blair's actions. If anything, think of this as the prologue. We're here right now because Blair, owner of Pyramid Entertainment LLC, or better known as her public YouTube personality Illuminati, is currently in the process of suing me, as well as other prior employees for defamation and other claims. This video, as well as its subsequent parts, will serve as a public record of exactly what is going on behind the scenes. Throughout these videos, I will actively be showing all and any evidence related to dismantling her claims against me, as well as the other parties she's involved in this misplaced legal crusade of hers. Seeing as I know this video will be heavily scrutinized by Blair's legal team, hi, and perhaps even shown in front of a court, also hi, I am fully willing to submit this video and its subsequent parts to the courts as further evidence, as I am willing to stand by these words, as I'm treating this as though I'm speaking under oath. I'm also not stating this to add an air of authority to my words, as Blair's legal team has previously proposed. I want the truth known. And to do so, I'm going to publicly dissect her claims within this lawsuit to essentially lay bare my defense, as well as the defense for other parties involved. My section of the lawsuit will be covered in part 2, as I'm awaiting litigation privileges.
I assume the only issue I would have with this is make sure your attorney is okay with this first, because, you know, sometimes talking about something like this can harm your standing. I don't know exactly how, but generally lawyers say don't talk about a legal case while it's happening, but maybe this is an exception. You just kind of do what your lawyer tells you to do. Did you talk to the lawyer first? Yeah, just making sure.
Before I explore my portion of the lawsuit publicly. Despite this, there is still plenty of information on the ongoings in this video. My lawyer is aware I'm doing this. These legal proceedings have been ongoing for the past 8 to 9 months at this point in time. If it wasn't for the assistance I received with the GoFundMe back in September, I would not have been able to mount a legal defense. Of the amount donated, GoFundMe takes a fee with each donation. This can be seen on screen here with this nice little chart breakdown they provide. At this point in time, which more information can be found as an update in the original GoFundMe, this lawsuit has cost over $40,000. I've been posting all of my legal invoices for full transparency, and more will be posted soon.
So yeah, this is what's called a slap suit. It's when somebody who's powerful and wealthy doesn't like that somebody that's less powerful and less wealthy is saying negative things about them. And so they engage in a torrent of frivolous lawsuits that will drain the funds, the meager funds of the person that they are trying to take down far before they run out of money because, you know, they've got plenty. It's one of the most blatant ways in which the system is geared for powerful, wealthy people to just weigh down on those with less money and less power. And that's what Illuminati's doing. Just a torrent of lawsuits that, you know, Oz has to spend money on and raise money on in order to afford to fight against, even if they're bogus lawsuits. You have to fight them, and you have to spend money to fight them. And oftentimes, you're not really getting reimbursed at the end of it. Yep, and Blair's family did come from money, yes. She was a Nepo baby, or she is a Nepo baby, I should say. Everything about her is fake. She's literally a landlord. Like, her current grift is property development. Like, she buys land and properties and resells them and rents them. She's literally, I think, getting up to being a corporate landlord. Like, I think she's got a whole company for it and owns, like, possibly a dozen plus properties. Or is getting close to it, at least. Like, she's trying to become, like, the owner of her own landlord agency.
The redacted information within them is information subject to attorney-client privilege, which also spells out my current legal strategy. This would be foolish to allow Blair's legal team access. This is why the redactions are as heavy as they include itemized lists of my lawyer's actions throughout the case's initial proceedings. Despite how much has been spent so far, the legal proceedings are still in the beginning phases. Blair's lawsuit, in my opinion, relies on the misconstruing of facts and utilizes a personally curated timeline, which she has constructed in order to gain the bare minimum standards of having this case proceed. Because I'm exhausted with the, in my opinion, legal shenanigans Blair is currently pulling, this video exists. We will be delving into that timeline and gutting it point by point, as both her lawyers and judge seem to be fully unaware that I am not the real cause of her pain and misery. Blair is. Blair's actions are the reason we are here, and I'll be demonstrating that shortly with a detailed timeline of events before we move into the dissection of.
I really hate how we're getting to the point now where when you've got someone pinned in an internet drama, there's a non-zero chance that they're just going to, like, threaten or outright sue you to try to, like, silence you. It's like the final option people trapped in a complete corner go to when you've got them, right? Like, I've had it happen to me where, like, somebody threatened to sue me because I talked about allegations they had against them. Yeah, like, it's happened to me. It's getting surprisingly common. Like, it feels like every day another YouTuber is getting sued or threatened to be sued because they said something true but negative about somebody online who's got money.
Of her claims. If you would like a full breakdown of every court filing to date, I would recommend YouTuber Matt Caster. For now, I'll be focusing on what's current and minimizing the 100+ pages of legal proceedings down to only what's necessary over the next 2 parts. For the next proceedings, I'll be launching a new GoFundMe because I have nearly exhausted the prior amounts donated. All donations will be used to defend all parties in opposition to Blair, not just myself. All future legal invoices will be posted as they come, from all parties who are in need of the funding. My goal with these uploads, assuming Blair does not take my offer, is to not only lay my defense bare for all legal parties to see, but for the online community as a whole. I intend to provide ample documentation to justify to all of you why another round of crowdfunding is being posted. This isn't just for myself anymore. This is also to defend employees that Blair is bringing legal action against as well. If Blair does accept my offer within the outro, I will be refunding the new GoFundMe once all terms are met, and the lawsuit is officially over, court filings and all. If you're curious as to why I'm even offering Blair a potential settlement in the outro, that will be explained there, as
not pulling a Keffels. If Blair doesn't do the lawsuit and we don't end up meeting the money, it'll get refunded. And yes, there are means through GoFundMe to make that happen, to refund people who have given through a GoFundMe. I appreciate that. We're being very transparent. We're not pulling a Keffels. That'll forever be called pulling a Keffels. I get to have that now.
There are numerous factors in my personal life that I've recently had to heavily consider and prioritize minimizing or even removing causes of stress. That being said, I have no issue, hesitations, or fears in connection to proceeding with this lawsuit. I am confident in the direction things are going, and I just want to offer a path to end this before we're stuck in this for years on end. This will be further explored in the outro.
I think she wants it to be like a years on end legal battle because I think the goal is to try to run Oz out of money. Until it's like, fuck, I guess I have to shut up about her so she can come back to YouTube unabated and just go back to her grift because I can't continue raising money for legal defenses anymore. Like, it's a marathon. Who can win the marathon? Who runs out of money first is what I think she's going for here. And it's very personal, too. You know, we're talking about an ex who's trying to ruin Oz Media's life. It's very personal for Illuminaughty.
As stated in my September update video, Blair and I dated, just in case this context is missing. It was never my goal to make any of this about relationship drama. However, despite the actual timeline of events which have occurred, Blair is trying to paint her entire downfall on YouTube as being nothing more than my actions towards her as a jealous ex. I'm not jealous towards your current partner, Blair, only sympathetic. I encourage all of you to fact check this timeline.
That's a good line. I didn't even know Blair has a current partner. Poor individual. Maybe guy? I don't know. I'm not going to presume to know if what Blair's sexuality is, but Poor person.
Go. I'm being both as detailed and as quick as I can here because, again, Blair, in my opinion, is actively obfuscating the timeline in her lawsuit in an attempt to paint herself as a victim who did nothing to deserve the scrutiny delivered onto her. On April 20th, 2023, the story begins with a tweet produced by Blair which attacked Legal Eagle for copying her style. Legal Eagle would quickly retort, explaining he had been using these standard practice editing styles, which included standard document.
The really sad thing is that all of this, like, when you explain the drama to people, you have to begin with, like, the Legal Eagle editor drama, which is such a nothing burger compared to what it, like, kind of snowballed into. So when you start explaining the drama, it sounds like nothing. It sounds like the most hollow, empty, who should give a fuck drama ever. But if you just give it a listen and you hear where, like, what came out of this and where we're at now, it's like, oh, shit, people should care about this. Like, we really do need people to be on, like, Ozmedia's side here.
Effects such as the classic skeuomorphism torn paper effect, as well as the simple action of highlighting text, which all can easily be found as stock templates online.
Yeah, it scales
in this Twitter
hard.
thread, Blair had also levied accusations against members of Legal Eagle's team as proof of this copying by showing an editor of Legal Eagle asking for help with how a certain effect is achieved. This is standard practice amongst YouTubers and editors. Blair responded to Legal Eagle by deleting these accusations and did not provide a public apology or any form of public justification for her actions. This further stirred the pot and made people ask questions. This same day, April 20th, H-Bomber Guy would post a tweet publicly displaying an example of Blair copying a documentary herself, although he used the word plagiarism. At the time, I found it incredibly telling that H-Bomber Guy had such a specific clipped comparison ready to go that same day, with an exact video. I do wonder if Blair had the same realization that I did, that the only way Harris would have a clip like this is if something major was in the works. Foreshadowing is a little on April 23rd, 3 days later.
Did you guys catch it? Did you guys catch the H-Bomber Guy reference? Foreshadowing is yeah.
We would see Click post his Twitter thread.
I
emphasize the 3 days portion
good.
because at this point, Blair was still yet to address the Legal Eagle scenario, pushing Click, a former collaborator of hers, to publicly distance himself from her to avoid the flack that her actions had been causing for any and all who were at any point associated with her. This is not an accusation. I am just stating the unforeseen cause and effect of Blair's documented actions. This same night, from a bathtub apparently, Wonderstruck, now known as Hi I'm Wonder, would post his Twitter thread detailing his prior dealings with Blair, as well as the harm that he felt he suffered when close to her. I was unaware that Wonder was going to make this tweet. He and I normally are on voice call when he's in the tub. This will be important later when we move into the details of the lawsuit, as Blair claims Wonder and I had essentially masterminded her downfall. I didn't know about the thread until I received a now deleted DM from Blair asking me what she should do, followed by several.
For those that don't know, the Click, Wonder, and Ozmedia are the three people who have been like the core focus of Illuminati's abuse and attacks. I know for a fact there have been others, but of those that are like the most like forefront at the moment, the like ex-friends slash co-workers slash ex in one case, are those three that you would probably know. Really fucked up what she did to them. Like both on a friend level and on, in a way, an employee-employer level. Really fucked up.
Several missed calls from her. I wish I had a record of this Discord DM, but by the next morning, this DM would be deleted. Because Blair did not publicly provide a reason or explanation towards her actions, and with the emergence of H-Bomber Guy, Click, and Wonder...
Yeah, I don't think she can sue the Click, because I think the Click lives in another country. Is that why? I forget what exactly it is. I think it's because the Click doesn't live in the same country.
Threads, it left Twitter frenzied for answers. Those who were familiar with my connections to Blair, as it was public knowledge we were roommates, would begin to DM me or brigade my livestream chats with questions on the situation. Questions such as if I still supported Blair and if I could provide a reason or explanation for her actions. It was because of users constantly asking me to answer on behalf of Blair, as well as my past colleagues, finally speaking out, that I broke my silence and posted my thread. A thread where I took accountability for my actions in support of Blair and defended the credibility of my colleagues. I posted my Twitter thread April 24th, 2023 at roughly 4 a.m. my time. That same morning, I had this text message interaction with Blair. Please note, it is only because of the current trajectory of this lawsuit with myself awaiting litigation privileges on...
Now, to be very clear, like, this is going to be a win. Like, Ozmedia will win the lawsuit if it is challenged. Like, it's just an easy win. In America, in order to... Former employee, yeah, obviously. In America, in order to win a libel or defamation case, you have to prove a variety of things. So if you're the person doing the suing, the onus is on you to prove that what was said, A, was false, or not necessarily was false, actually. That's not true. Not that it was false, but that the person who said it believed it was false when they said it. That they were knowingly lying, and that is really hard to prove. Like, evidence that they knew they were lying when they said it. 2, you have to be able to prove damages, so you have to be able to show a direct, provable correlation between what was said that was a provable lie, a knowing lie, and how it hurt your income and your life and harmed you in some way. And then you also have to prove, I forget what the third thing is. There's like a third thing as well. It's surprisingly hard to prove that like somebody has defamed you or engaged in libel about you. So in court, like Illuminati's case isn't going to hold up. The matter is you have to pay so much money and spend so much money just to get to that point where the judge is like, oh, what even is this? Why do you put this in front of me? Get out of here. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Osmedia, you're fine. Like, that's how it's going to go. But it's going to be so much money spent to get to that point, and that's the point of what Blair's doing. Salty is not saying anything because he has a wife and kids to protect from Blair, and Blair's not going after him because he didn't say anything. He didn't speak out. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's fair, right? Like, you don't want to incur the wrath of that psycho woman at this point, especially when she's getting this litigious.
In these matters, that I am no longer leaving my information redacted, as I had previously intended to do so now 1 year ago. Blair, Monday, April 24th at 8:24 a.m. So I just saw your tweets, and now I understand why when I called you, you didn't answer. I'm going to take some time to formulate my thoughts, but ultimately, Oz, I hope you really do find your happiness in life. I hope you find your peace, your satisfaction, your perfect black cat, all of that. I'm not sure what you want from an outcome in this situation, but I guess I'll have to figure that out later. Blair, I just want you to realize you've caused pain. You've caused me pain. I don't care about the drama. I just want you to realize how much you've hurt me. I've been doing my best to hold everything in, for years now at this point. If you actually did read my thread, you would know what I want. Peace. I just want to be free. I just want to be able to breathe. I have read that you want peace. I thought we were doing better. I wish it could have been something we talked about on our own time instead of dogpiling. I'm left more confused than anything. Well, I assume you don't want to talk anymore. All I ever wanted was for you to realize you hurt me. Not just in the relationship, I do not care about that. You hurt me as a person to my very core. At some point, Blair, you need to see the pattern. Well, Oz, I cared about the relationship too. I cared about all of it. You hurt me as a person too, and ripped everything wide open today. And if doing this all to me helps you feel better, then that's okay. I'll take it. I'm sorry, Oz. I hope this helps you find your peace.
Yeah, it's very, like, she sounds very, cunty in a bad way there. Like, very much like, okay, trying to, like, manipulate Oz into thinking that this was, like, a bad thing that he did just by talking about this. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's a pretty big red flag just in the way she talks to them, you know?
Except you aren't. You're going to continue to drag my name through the mud. You're going to continue to be who you are. And that's okay. I just hope that you stop painting people as your weekly villain. It's your biggest flaw and it's always gotten you in the most trouble. It's what caused the most harm. Blair, I'm sorry I ripped everything wide open, but I never had the chance to heal. I never had the chance to feel peace. Instead, I went to therapy and have a PTSD diagnosis. Instead, I gave myself chemical burns because I was too scared to say no. I'm afraid of you, Blair. I'm getting a second opinion on the PTSD. I don't want it to be true and I don't trust Talkspace to that extent. What the hell are you talking about with chemical burns? And this purple portion here is Blair airing her mental health. I'm leaving this censored. I don't want to drag your name in the mud, which is why I'm going to you instead of Twitter or whatever. I would go to an actual doctor. Colorado is tightening down on telemedicine stuff, FYI. I'm working on it. Thanks for the heads up. I would rather talk to you in a phone call, in person, whatever. I would rather try to work on things and work out things over, I don't know, whatever else the other options are. I don't want either.
I'm gonna, like, be completely honest here. I've had, like, shitty exes. I mean, you guys know that for sure. And this sounds a lot like the kind of stuff they say when you put your foot down. You're like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. It reminds me a lot of that. Like the weird, like, bargaining, but with the air of acting as though they've got any leverage with which to bargain with you. You know what I mean? Like a sort of false bravado in that bargaining. Like almost like I don't even know if it's gaslighting. God, my eye is so itchy today. I don't even know if it's gaslighting. I think it's just like an attempt at manipulation. Like a sort of like bargaining, pleading.
If I was hurting, I know there is no band-aid solution, but I know talking helps. Just for some context, why I didn't take this is because Blair does have a habit of recording conversations. This is evident with the Madison situation from Cruel Happy Mind. I was fearful she would take my words out of context to suit her narrative. I need time.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. It's better to keep the conversation in text where you can screenshot it and post it for future reference. And if she wants to delete her messages, then, I mean, what's that look like?
I need to see a real therapist first. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry you're hurting as well. I really am. But I need to start putting my needs first. I will put my needs first too. Good luck out there. Take care, please. Can't guarantee that, but I will be alive. Just so we're clear, that was a joke. Probably a bad one, but a joke. And I'll have the officer remove the bolo off of your house too. I guess I'll be heading down then. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have it in my name either. Just show them any verifiable threats and they'll do it. And this was the last time I spoke to Blair. For additional context, the bolo...
She is very bizarre. It felt like she was trying to get the final word in that conversation. I'm not the only one who got that vibe. Am I? Like, didn't it feel like she was trying to get the final word there? Like, I can't see how I'll have a good day, but I'll be alive, you know?
In question, as Blair described it, was essentially swatting protection. It was a way that if someone were to attempt to swat my home, the officer in question would then look up my address and see that I am a public figure and give me a call before showing up to my door in SWAT gear. Blair removed this protection when I spoke out against her, or at least she claims. I don't know if this actually exists or not. But to me, in my eyes...
Jesus Christ, what? Yeah, that protection does exist. It is real. I have that. She had it removed. She admitted to having it removed after... That's just explicitly like, there's nothing you pay for or like a service you have to have like upkept in order to have that set up so that you don't have to worry about getting swatted as an online content creator. She actively, maliciously went out of her way to call the local police department and tell them to remove the address from the list of places to call before sending the SWAT team if a call is made to the house. Careful to try to get that. How can she do that? It depends on the police department. It's a thing. Oh my God. My throat is so phlegmy. What the hell? It's a thing in Seattle. The, what's it? King County Police Department? Is that it? In Washington? Here in Seattle, they've got it. And there's quite a few other places across America that do as well. But I don't think it's a thing in Canada. But I don't know. It depends on where you are. They might not offer this system, but in a big city generally, they do here in Seattle. Like, notoriously, they offer that in Seattle. So what a shitty thing she did. That's like malicious. Like, you have to work to achieve a malicious act of like making it easier for Oz Media to be swatted is what she did there. The only reason to do that. And had to work to achieve it. It wasn't like, oh, stopped paying for a service. It was called up and said, hey, I need you to make my ex-friend easier to swat. That's literally what she did.
On this day, after I had spoken out against Blair, Blair removed protections that I would have against swatting. Protections which she did in fact put in place, but had also explained to me what the purpose of them were. There is a lot to unpack here. However, these messages are important as I believe they help demonstrate why I have come to the conclusions I have on her motives. It is worth noting, I am the one who asked for space. I am the one who wanted nothing to do with her. She is the one who apologized and desperately sought out a rapid solution to remove my words from the internet. I finally said no. This same day, April 24th, One Topic would post his thread in opposition to Blair. April 28th, Blair would upload her video, Illuminaughty Exposed, which...
I forgot, One Topic is another person who's been getting a lot of shit. There's 4 people that have been in the limelight of Illuminati's harassment. My bad.
Served as a direct response to her detractors. Blair had taken drama off of Twitter with minimal viewership and plastered it before her large audience for the world to see. In this video, she finally showed that she did in fact apologize to Legal Eagle. In private. If this was made public, I believe we would not be here right now. As myself.
Hilariously, by the time she apologized to Legal Eagle, no one cared about the Legal Eagle thing anymore. Everyone was far more concerned with what the former Sad Milk members had gone through. Like that was like very quickly after people found out about the Legal Eagle thing, the Sad Milk thing became known, and that's what she was getting canceled for. Like, no one cares about the editor drama at this point. It's more about, like, what she's doing to Oz and everyone else.
Myself and others would not have received questions and pressure from viewers to make a statement. In this video, which is still public, Blair attempted to address the Twitter threads from both Click and Wonder. In doing so, she also used this opportunity to leverage several accusations against them. Accusations which she, as it appears based on her actions, had been holding on for nearly 3 years to use at her convenience for an exact moment like this. In my opinion, based on what we see from these events, either Blair knew her evidence was a misrepresentation of facts and only worth sharing as a Hail Mary attempt to destroy someone's reputation, or she willingly held evidence of minors being harmed within Click's server and only reported on it 3 years later when it benefited her. I cannot fathom any other reason for the events transpiring the way that they have. In fact, back in 2020, by the way she spoke...
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, even if the story about, like, minors getting groomed in Click's server was real, which it wasn't, it was literally, like, Click was asleep and, like, Illuminati saw someone, like, engaging in inappropriate messages with a minor, the person got banned, but Illuminati, like, spam messaged Click while Click was asleep. Like, oh, if you're not awake 24/7 to deal with a situation like this and answer for it, then you're complicit. And it's like, oh my God, what a reach. Jesus Christ. And then even if that was like a gotcha, even if that was a good gotcha, Illuminati dropped that as a non sequitur argument against the clique in a video 3 years later. Like, by that point, let's say it was a 12-year-old that was getting groomed in the clique server, hypothetically. At that point, like, the kid's 15. And then she's making her expose. Like, come on. It was never a good argument in the first place. I appreciate, because this may be shown in court, and we don't know, like, what level of understanding of internet drama the people that are going to hear about this and potentially see it will already be exposed to. So I think it's good that it's being somewhat over-explained. That's probably a good thing.
Within her messages, Blair seemed very eager to find an opportunity to destroy Click with this exact evidence. Or, to use her words from 2020, nah, I'm not gonna attack Click unless it becomes public gossip or a drama channel picks it up. Then I will nuke him. In this response video, Blair accused Click of some fairly horrendous things.
Oh my god, people saying they're gonna nuke someone when they don't actually have, like, anything on that person that would be, like, a good nuke is really cringe. Ugh. Like, what does... I guess you know what she might have meant when she... You know what she probably meant when she said nuke him? Inundate with legal bullshit. She probably doesn't mean, like, oh, maybe it was posting the suicide note. Yeah, that might have been it. God, she really thought that was like a good gotcha. Like, it was just immediately, even her own fans were just like, oh my god, delete this, Blair. And she really thought it was like an epic gotcha. Jesus Christ. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, it's so vile and so cringe, you know? Like, how vile of a thing to do that is already enough of a crime, but it's also such a cringe thing to do, you know? Oh.
Which he did address in full within his own response video. Now, this is a retelling of well-documented public events which transpired publicly. None of this is new information. Blair also had a chapter dedicated to Wonder where she plastered his mental health for the world to see. Wonder is a former employee of Blair's, meaning that Blair had exposed private and sensitive information, also known as PII, which included conversations she had with his therapist, for her entire audience of, at the time, roughly 1.7 million subscribers. Blair...
Yeah, I think that information is literally illegal to disseminate because it's medical info, and that's, like, protected in a very special way.
Also accused Wonder of mistreatment of his dog, as well as other false accusations that Wonder was forced to address. There is, of course, the infamous 3-minute section dedicated to me where Blair is in tears. I have my own opinion on these tears, but I plan to tackle this at a different time, as it serves no purpose here beyond pointing out that...
I feel like most people at this point have dealt with someone, let's be honest, it's mostly women that do this, that have, like, narcissism or, like, a borderline personality disorder like Blair has, and are very good at just, like, on command alligator crying, like tearing up, fake tears, fake crying, manipulation mode. Like we've all met, like, it's usually a girl who's a narcissist. Guys can do it too, but it's usually not very effective when guys start crying to get what they want. So it's usually a girl you'll meet who's really narcissistic, who can just immediately call over some tears to manipulate people. We all know that's what Illuminati is. She's demonstrated the conniving and the scheming aspects of all that, like the knowing planning of fucking people over and trying to hurt them by playing victim. Her alligator tears, sorry. Yeah, not alligator crying. You know what I mean. Yeah, very familiar with, like, the kind of person Illuminati is at this point. So I don't buy her crying at all. Yeah, men have to be manipulative in other ways. It can't just be crying. It has to be like a different method.
In my opinion, Blair is attempting to leverage private details for public pity, which some people did in fact take at face value, and demanded I apologize to Blair on various platforms. This section's cumbersome wording is very particular to the legal side of things that will make sense when looking at her, in my opinion, legal hypocrisy. She played in the mud just as much as everyone else did. I cannot emphasize enough that Blair had taken Click and Wonder's Twitter complaints and negative experiences of her past behavior, complaints made publicly as reasoning for their discontinued association with her after her public folly with Legal Eagle, and would then post a response video where she herself levied accusations against other content creators, which warranted a response to defend themselves against her claims. I understand that to a vast majority of you, this is obvious. But
it was so funny, too, because she thought she did something with that video, and the immediate response was like, I didn't know about the sad milk thing, and I just looked into it, and you're clearly lying and full of shit. And then she lost more and more and more subs simply by acknowledging the sad milk drama, as it was known back then.
Blair attempts to paint her video as an attempt to de-escalate matters within the original filings of the lawsuit. Ironically, this factual allegation was later mysteriously removed in future amended versions of her legal complaint. 34. Regarding the false accusations listed above, Blair made one public post, attempting to debunk the misinformation. She has not publicly addressed the situation further in an attempt to de-escalate it. While I have my theories on why this was removed, the exact details are unknown. In her current complaint, there is currently no reference to her ever uploading this video or any of the public comments she's made, making it appear as though she never played in the mud, and her criticisms came from nowhere. Here's a quick search in the Second Amendment complaint to demonstrate this. This document will be on full display in future chapters within Part 2. More on this, of course, when
Second Amendment.
we reach the legal debunking. Sorry to edge you all on like this with this tease, but my point here is that Blair's story has already had numerous revisions, and she sees her video as an attempt at de-escalation.
I really like that the video over-explains, because you have to remember that potentially, like, never touched a touch screen in their lives boomers might be in the jury, if it's a jury thing, or God, the judge could have never seen a YouTube video ever before.
If you recall, among the many other accusations she levies, Blair accused YouTuber The Click of harboring pedophiles in his Discord server. In what world this is a de-escalation? I cannot say. Now, of course, I do believe that Blair is entitled to speak publicly on her personal retelling of events. However, I personally find it to be brash, hypocritical, and even monstrous to then sue those who argue against said retelling of events. Something rocks in glass houses. Following Blair's April 20th video, this would of course follow with a twit longer drafted by Wonder, posted April 29th, in a rapid attempt to defend himself from the multitude of new allegations that Blair had dropped on his doorstep. May 2nd, Click would upload his response, detailing his experiences with Sad Milk as well as what he had personally gone through. Near the end of this video, documentation is shown from an individual who was previously anonymous, which helped provide Click with supporting evidence to bolster his claims as well as to dismantle the many accusations thrown forward by Blair. This individual is now being sued by Blair. His online handle is Felix the Kit Kat. He was
Yep, there's quite a few people that aren't, like, getting super in the forefront of everything that are also being attacked by Illuminati. There was a whole team of people that are, like, all being attacked by her who have all, like, got the same story. It's literally, like, half a dozen or more people's story word against just hers. Very likely they're not all just ganging up on her for no reason, and she's actually just really stand up, and they've all just decided, we don't like her, we're going to turn on her and lie about her. That's very unlikely. More likely than not, she's the problem. Not everyone else every time she gets into a situation. Now, obviously, I would love to watch the whole rest of this video, but to completely tell you guys the truth, I have to use the restroom quite bad. And on top of that, I don't want to just yoink the entire video, but the main point of this is that Oz Media is raising money for the legal case with Illuminati. And no, don't worry. You guys don't have to worry about getting keffels and having your money pocketed. Don't worry. Don't worry. Allegedly. Don't worry. Don't worry. However, if you guys are interested and you guys want to send some support, please consider going over into Oz Media's stream or over to their channel. There'll be a link in the description, and there's a link there in chat as well. You should go into the chat and say, Zan says hi, and maybe drop a like and some support. It's always appreciated. They're actually live right now, so go say hi to Oz. Anyway, with that said, if you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like. It really does help a lot. Please go support Oz as well. Drop a like. Go send some support to the GoFundMe if you've got the money for it. And of course, consider subscribing and ring the bell icon and following my social medias linked down below. Support me financially if you want to by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, or Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. But if you've got money, probably send it to Oz Media first, and then maybe a donation to me if you can afford it. But yeah, with that said, hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to join my fan Discord if you haven't already. We're doing a watch party right after stream. It's going to be a banger. We're going to be watching more Rings of Power, so I hope to see you guys there. I love doing watch parties, and yeah, as always, hope you enjoyed, and I hope you come to the next watch party and video. Thank you for watching.